Hello everyone and welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna, your filthy casual place for all the filthy casual takes on the world of sports. I am DylanLasagna and welcome back to another round of my weekly picks for the 2022 NFL season. And man, it's already week 14? Really? Damn. So anyway, I just hope you're bundling up, staying warm inside, and if you're outside, just keep yourself warm, man. Just do what you can. Because it really is cold outside. And for all these teams competing this weekend and beyond, let's hope they can stay warm too, especially the playoff contenders, because if they want to make it in, they got to stay hot. If they get cold, then they're not going to get in at all. They're going to be watching from home, just like half of the teams will be coming this January. So anyway, let's get into the week that is to come in week 14. Obviously, we have our last round of bye week teams, and those teams include the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. So once all those teams finish up their byes this week, everyone will be back to action the rest of the way. So hopefully those teams, I don't know, they do a Secret Santa, White Elephant, have some early Christmas party or something. I don't know what they're going to do during their bye week. So anyway, let's get into the week that is to come, week 14. We kick things off on Thursday Night Football, only on Amazon Prime Video for $15 a month, as the Rams took on the Raiders. Man, this game literally was just like a rehash of how week 13 ended with the Bucs and the Saints. Max Crosby and the Raiders defense, they did a good job of stuffing and shutting down a very bad Rams offense. And that included a newly acquired Baker Mayfield off waivers, who just came into town in LA on a new team, just learning the offense, less than literally a day or two in Los Angeles. But thanks to Derek Carr and the offense's inability to continually score points, and the defense constantly making mistakes in the last 2 minutes of the game, it allowed Baker Mayfield to lead a comeback. Everyone has been overhyping since the game, when the real storyline was actually how the Raiders found yet another way to choke another game. And that was because of the defense making stupid penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct, punting the ball down, an odd pass interference penalty when it shouldn't need to be. Like, those silly mistakes cost them the game, as the Rams beat the Raiders 17-16 to save whatever playoff hopes that they don't really have left alive. So going to the actual Sunday slate of games and the rest of the week 14 slate going forward, starting with the early morning Sunday slate, the New York Jets at 7-5 take on the 9-3 Buffalo Bills in an AFC East rematch, and a very important one for both teams. It is a rematch from their Week 9 meeting where the Jets upset the Bills. And man, this is the big one. This is a very big one for both of these teams, because the Jets still trying to keep their playoff hopes alive, keep the Patriots down in the basement of the AFC East. But last week wasn't a great matchup for them because, as okay as their defense did against the Minnesota Vikings, their offense with Mike White had some problems in the red zone. And against the Bills, despite not having Von Miller, especially now for the rest of the season, they got to do better at getting touchdowns in the red zone. Meanwhile, for the Bills, they might have finally found something in the rushing attack with James Cook and Devin Singletary heating up against the Patriots last week. And hopefully they find some more of that success against the Jets. So, and make life easier for Josh Allen, and having him run a little less on purpose. So hopefully for the Bills, at least, they continue to establish some kind of balance in that as they look for revenge from Week 9. So give me the Bills in this matchup. The Cleveland Browns at 5-7 take on the 8-4 Cincinnati Bengals. Deshaun Watson, he had a rough go, as expected, trying to shake off the rust after not playing for a very long while. And this is just his second start in that same while. And for the Cincinnati Bengals, they're still seeking vengeance on the Browns in that holiday beatdown led by one and only Jacoby Brissett. So this time around, they're facing Deshaun Watson, and who's had ample time to actually prepare with the first team. So we'll see how it goes. But considering how the Bengals have been and how they're coming off a big win against the Chiefs, give me Cincinnati in this one. The Houston Texans at 1-10-1 take on the Dallas Cowboys at 9-3. Do we really need to say anything about this game? Do we really need to say other than guess how many points the Dallas Cowboys will nuke on Houston in the first half? I think we can guess. Maybe I'll go and be generous. Maybe 30 points in the first half, and maybe 40 in the first half, because the Texans are just that terrible. And even with Davis Mills, and I can't blame Davis Mills at all for how terrible the Texans are. Yeah, he has some of his problems, but terrible supporting cast. So Cowboys easily. The Minnesota Vikings at 10-2 traveled to take on the Detroit Lions at 5-7. So another big matchup in the NFC North, because, well, the Lions are looking to keep their own playoff hopes alive, even in a crowded wildcard race with the Cowboys, the Giants, the Seahawks, the Commanders. But they have a fighting chance to get back into the playoff race, even though it might be a little crowded. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, they beat the Lions, they get the NFC North. It's as simple as that. But they have a few injuries in the secondary that might make this a shootout. So tread lightly with my pick with the Minnesota Vikings, because they lose here to Detroit. Ooh, things might get a little interesting here. The Philadelphia Eagles at 11-1 travel to New York to take on the 7-4-1 New York Giants. So, despite how the offense with Daniel Jones and the offense is, this actually could be a test for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in terms of the defensive line for the New York Giants. But the Eagles do have an opportunity to clinch the first playoff spot in the NFC. As for Daniel Jones and the Giants, they're about to see how they will fare against a strong Philadelphia defense. So I will go with the Eagles. The Baltimore Ravens at 8-4 take on the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5-7. Steelers, they've been finding ways to win. They won, I think this is their third straight win against, pretty crappy teams. But still, Kenny Pickett, having some solid flashes, and with the way that the Ravens have been trending, especially considering that, they haven't exactly played up to their competition, even with Lamar Jackson, and considering that he's going to be out at least for this game, and they're putting in Tyler Huntley, maybe this is an opportunity for Pittsburgh to get one up on Baltimore and cripple their chances on the AFC North. And not to say that to help their rival Cincinnati, maybe this is going to be a way to spoil Baltimore's chances. So give me Pittsburgh in this upset matchup of the week. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-8 take on the Tennessee Titans at 7-5. Both teams looking to bounce back after some very bad losses the previous week. The Jaguars getting their asses whooped by looking so all elite against the Detroit Lions in a bad loss. For the Tennessee Titans, they got their asses whooped as well by the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. But the Titans, considering that they're in a terrible AFC South, and the Jaguars, they're still trying to rebuild, and they still have some of their flashes, but still have a ways to go. Tennessee right now is just in a more prime spot to do it better than Jacksonville, with the rest of the AFC South down and dead. So give me the Titans to win this one. Going to the late afternoon portion of Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs at 9-3 take on the 3-9 Denver Broncos. So Kansas City looking to bounce back after a rough loss to the Bengals and their defense. And, they didn't really have much of a chance to, possess the ball because, they couldn't stop Joe Burrow in the offense in the last couple of minutes. And now they have to, of course, win some games and hope that the Bills choke away some. So they have a chance. They do also have a chance to win the division like already with the win. Plus, they have to wait on the Chargers to lose to the Dolphins later on in the night on Sunday Night Football. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. Meanwhile, for the Denver Broncos, are you ready to ride the next wave to one more loss and your playoff dreams are officially going to be dead in the mile high? I think so. Give me the Chiefs in this one, as Russell Wilson and the Broncos can finally look forward to not having Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach. Yeah, let's ride to that. The Carolina Panthers at 4-8 take on the 7-5 Seattle Seahawks, with Baker Mayfield now in Los Angeles and apparently having a comeback victory in his belt. It's Sam Darnold's show. He's in full possession of the offense yet again. And, well, let's see what that'll equate to. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, they're looking to churn up some wins, coming off a division win against the Rams last week without Baker Mayfield. We didn't get to that part yet. They haven't gotten to that part yet. And capitalize on the 49ers quarterback situation. No Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. And we'll get to that in just a second. So give me Seattle in this matchup. The Tampa Bay Bucks at 6-6 take on my San Francisco 49ers at 8-4. Big matchup in the NFC. Like a very significant matchup as Tom Brady returns to the Bay Area. And they got their record back to an even 500. And they almost could have been like 5-7 had it not been for the Saints. But nonetheless, they got their stranglehold on the NFC South now with some late Brady magic on Monday night. But for the 49ers, this game is kind of like do or die on their Super Bowl, let alone playoff hopes. Brock Purdy, he looked pretty good in coming in relief for the injured Jimmy Garoppolo, whose season is not technically over, despite the broken foot injury. But realistically, if the Niners do make the playoffs, depending on what happens these next couple of weeks, I don't think he's going to come back. So a lot of these next couple of weeks, including this big game against Tampa Bay, will hinge on Brock Purdy. And, the defense is what the defense is. They're going to carry this offense. So a lot will depend on how Brock Purdy does. So I'm going with my 49ers in this game against the Bucks. But again, a lot of it's just going to depend on how Purdy does in his first ever start. Going to the Sunday Night Football game for Week 14, the Miami Dolphins at 8-4 take on the LA Chargers at 6-6. Tua's looking to bounce back from a very rough showing against my 49ers defense. And this is a prime spot for him, especially against a Chargers team that's just beat up. They can't close out games, and their playoff hopes continuing to fade with each and every loss. And even more if the Chiefs win and they're inching closer to the division title, and if they lose this game against the Dolphins. So I do think that's going to happen. The Dolphins are going to win this game and cripple the Clippers' chances to make the playoffs. So give me the Dolphins in this game. The Monday Night Football game to close out Week 14, the New England Patriots at 6-6 take on the 4-8 Arizona Cardinals, coming off a bye. The Patriots pretty much fighting for their playoff lives. But damn, I don't know if it's going to be possible with Mac Jones and that offense getting increasingly frustrated with each other. Like, did you see that Mac Jones screaming at the sidelines? I don't know if it was to his teammates or his coordinators, like him wanting his coordinators to let him freaking throw. It's like they don't trust each other. It's like Jones doesn't trust them, or the coordinators don't trust him. That's like yikes. So basically, the Patriots are fighting for their playoff lives here. Same thing for the Cardinals, because they're facing elimination pretty soon, and they don't win here. The next week, they could be eliminated just like that. So the Cardinals do have a slightly better offense than the Patriots, but is it a very reliable one? Enough to pick for them to win, for me to pick them in this game. But hey, Kingsbury in Arizona. So, yeah, take it for what you will. So those are my picks for Week 14 of the 2022 season. Let me know who you're going with. Let me know who you're going, if you're going to go with my picks as well or against them. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming week that is to come. So thank you for tuning in. Let me know your picks. And this is DylanLasagna signing out a very cold lasagna. And keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your take on the world of sports. And until next time, peace out.